We only ever know whether a decision was right or wrong in hindsight. You know those moments when you're stuck in your own head trying to figure out the right decision, you know, the one that won't lead to regret or failure, or those horrible two words, what if? The renowned psychologist Dr. Ellen Langer often says this: we can never truly know whether a decision is right or wrong beforehand because we've never lived through its outcome. Now, it might sound logical, but seeing it from that perspective really takes so much pressure off. I mean, how could we possibly know if we should take that job or stay where we are, start a business or play it safe, have kids or don't have kids, be in the relationship or not, have a normal cappuccino or a caramel latte? I always choose the wrong one. We don't get to live both versions of the future and then compare notes. So this idea that there's no such thing as a right or wrong decision until we look back in hindsight makes me think that maybe we're approaching decisions all wrong. We don't need to strive for perfection, because unless our lives are happening in a simulator, we have no idea what perfect even is. We just need to choose and then show up for that choice. Despite knowing that we can't predict the outcome, we still get stuck. Now, obviously, the reason we get so stuck is because we're terrified of regret. Terrified we'll make the wrong choice and we'll have to live with the consequences. So instead, we often live with indecision, or even after making the decision, we still question, which is its own kind of hell. We keep looking over our shoulder, we second guess ourselves, and worst of all, we romanticize the road not taken. We wonder, what if I'd said yes instead of no? What if I'd stayed? What if I'd left? What if I'd waited longer? What if I'd made the decision sooner? Or if I'd done this, my life would be this right now, and on and on and on we go. But if you really allow yourself to think this through, you realize there's just no way to know how the future will play out or when. Even if it feels like the other path would have been better, you are comparing your lived reality with all the messiness and complexity and ups and downs with a polished, idealized version of what could have been. You're comparing harsh reality to some utopian fantasy. And if you really think about it, it's kind of wild that we put ourselves through that, because it's completely unrealistic. Now, I'll be honest, I really struggle with decision making sometimes, and not even with the big things. Often it's the smaller things that get me, like choosing a venue for an event or deciding between two marketing options for my business. I can honestly drive myself crazy for days overthinking it. There's this whole run-up before making the decision, and then once I've made it, I go into this weird state of regret. It's almost like buyer's remorse, but for decisions. So I guess that would be decision remorse. And we often put way too much weight on it. It's like this decision will be the only one I'll ever be able to make. Like, if I don't get this one tiny choice right, it means I've blown it. So suddenly it's not just about a venue or a platform or choosing the right date. It feels like the entire success of the event, and by extension of my career, is riding on this one choice. I mean, it's ridiculous how much pressure that is. No wonder we can't sleep at night. That's why this realization that there's no known perfect choice brings such relief. And that's what I want to offer you in this episode. Stop beating yourself up for the decisions you've made, and step out of decision paralysis and stop waiting for a magical moment where everything will feel 100% right. Those moments are rare, and even when they happen, 5 or 10 years from now, you might still look back and wonder. Each decision comes with its own pros and cons, and what I've had to learn, and what I'm still learning, is to stop chasing the perfect decision and instead ask, can I make whatever I choose really work for me? If we never truly know whether a decision is right or wrong until we look back in hindsight, then we get to choose the meaning of the outcome today. Or we can say, That was the right decision for me at the time, and I'm going to make the most of it. Now, we live in this amazing time where we have so many choices, and honestly, I absolutely love the times we live in. I love the freedom. I love that we have access to so many amazing things. It is a real blessing, but it is also a burden, because when you have hundreds of options, you open the door to hundreds of imagined regrets, and you also have 100 reasons to punish yourself for not choosing differently and for maybe not being smarter or faster in the moment. So I think part of living well in this modern world is learning to create a kind of fictional certainty. So to say to yourself, this was the only option I had, even if it wasn't. Because we thrive when we commit, when we stop circling and say, this is it, I'm giving this everything I've got. Or here's a different spin on it. If you say to yourself, if someone promised me that this decision that I'm about to make, no matter how uncertain it feels right now, was going to work out, and not just work out, but be one of the best decisions I've ever made, how would I show up differently for it? And how would I make it work and keep my spirit lifted and excited even in the really hard times? Can you see how powerful it is just to set your mind up in the right way and to give yourself that grace of just believing in your own decisions? I mean, in that moment, you would stop second guessing yourself. You would stop holding back, which is a big thing, and you would start walking like someone who knows that they are exactly where they are supposed to be. And you can already guess how different the results you'll get from that mindset will be. And that shift doesn't guarantee a perfect outcome, but it completely changes how you move through the process and how you experience life. Because life is basically about just living out the decisions that we've made in the past. And if we can help ourselves enjoy the process and sell ourselves on our decisions, life in general will just be so much more joyful and peaceful. Decision making isn't tidy. It isn't a straight line or black and white scenario. There's never really a perfect either or. Obviously, you can take steps to get a clearer picture and come to a conclusion faster, but that's beyond the scope of this episode. The intention of this episode is to help you relax about the decisions you've already made, and to give yourself grace and allow yourself to view life as one giant experiment conducted in an uncontrolled environment and with countless unknown variables. Just free yourself of the pain of those what-ifs and just live your life in the present with an eye on the future. So wherever you are in life right now, whether you're wrestling with a decision or living in the aftermath of one, just remember, you'll never know whether it was the right or wrong decision before making it. You will never have all the information. You will never know exactly how it ends. All you can do is to sell yourself on your own decision and choose to get meaning out of whatever the decision was that you made. And also remind yourself that you always have the freedom to make a new decision in the future. I really hope this episode helped ease even a little bit of regret that you might be carrying. And if you're stuck in the middle of a tough choice right now, please don't beat yourself up. Just remind yourself, whatever the outcome, I will make it work for me going forward. I will not second guess. I won't compare it to some utopian what if. Please show yourself that kindness. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again today. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And until we meet again, always stay powered by progress. I'll catch you again in the next one. Bye.